Welcome to the Daily Energize podcast, your quick dose of clarity, quick tips, and the spark you need to shine bright. Here's your host, Spencer Jones.
What's up, Energizer? Spencer Jones here, the founder of Jones & 4, and I'm super excited to have you joining me in this and, well, all of the episodes of the Daily Energize. Thank you for subscribing and following. If you haven't yet, please slam that button down so you don't miss a single episode. And thank you to everybody who left a rating and review of this podcast. I really appreciate it. Whatever your rating and review is, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and offer that feedback. And I read all of them, so if you haven't yet, please take the 30 seconds, leave a rating and review if the platform you're listening to this allows. I know not all do, but take a quick look, see if it does, and just take the 30 seconds. I would really, really appreciate it. Today I was hoping, I'm going to talk, not just hoping, I'm planning on it. I'm going to talk about identity versus goals. Goals versus identity, the big matchup. Well, I talk often about goals, and we even have a Create and Crush accountability group, right? So we help create and crush goals so we can be at our best. I love goals. They're great, and I've taught goals for years, SMART goals, etc., and help people create and crush them. And even more recently, my coach introduced the thing that he learned, and I learned it from the person he learned it from, about impossible goals. That comes from Dr. Benjamin Hardy in his Secret to Scaling? Is that Scaling? Secret to Scaling? Something like that, I believe, is his latest book. Any case, Dr. Benjamin Hardy's awesome book talks about impossible goals. In any case, I love goals. However, they can lead us into a dangerous territory, into a slippery slope, as it were. That slippery slope is this slope of endlessly striving. Well, I'm constantly going for this goal and constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. And sometimes, especially with big goals, and if we don't reach them, we feel like a failure. Like we feel like, I'll never succeed at it. I've failed at all these other goals. And do I have permission just to be real with you? Just super upfront and honest. I'm assuming you said yes, because I'm gonna share it. So hopefully it's okay. I made business goals for Jones & 4 for years. Every year, look at it, create the goals, go after it. And year after year after year, I would not meet them. Now I set big goals, and I didn't meet them, and I felt so frustrated, so beaten down by the fact that I did not reach these goals, that this year I decided I'm not going to write goals. Nope, not going to write goals this year. Screw it. Why? I never reach them anyway. Why do it? Let's just keep pushing and seeing what happens. Well, that was before I learned about the impossible goals. And before I learned, so I was like 7 months, I decided not to set goals. Even though my coach suggested and told me to set goals, I did, but they were just thrown out there. I didn't give them any weight whatsoever. And then he shared about the impossible goals he learned from Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I listened to his book and all that and said, okay, cool. I like the impossible goals. That got me fired up about goals again. But something else really fired me up. And he said, goals are just a tool to help us progress. So now with that, I'm not necessarily beating myself. I'm not even necessarily. I'm not beating myself up over it anymore. It's just is, right? That, it's cool. That's the thing I'm going for. But we still need to be careful with goals, I feel, to a degree. If we feel like we just constantly need to push and strive and keep going, what happens if we switch goals to identity? Now, I like goals. I still teach goals. I still have goals now that I learned about that. But I also make sure my identity aligns with it. So, for example, instead of saying I want to run a marathon, I shift to my identity as, I am a runner. So I focus on the identity of who am I becoming? Who is that has those things? And take on that identity. Your identity shapes your choices naturally. Well, if I'm a runner, I'm going to run a marathon. Well, if I'm fit, well, then making healthier food choices, right? If I am financially abundant, well, it means money's flowing easily to me without worrying, right? Like, who am I becoming? Who is that person? So identity shapes your choices naturally, while goals can feel like pressure at times. Now, I still like the idea of goals of, all right, let's push ourselves, let's put a little bit of pressure on us and see what we need to do to get there. But if we don't have that identity, it's going to be a heck of a lot harder and much more of an uphill battle. So while I still invite you to have goals, I also invite you to look at who am I becoming? What identity of a person has those goals, and take that on as you continue to go after your goals. Be the person now, and the goals will follow. Okay, something to think about. And you might disagree with me, and that's totally cool. But and I've just noticed this shift for me has been a huge help of shifting. Who am I? Who do I need to become? And even as Dr. Benjamin Hardy talked about the impossible goals, it's, well, who is that identity of that person? He might not use those exact words, but the identity of the person who's reached that impossible goal. Take that on and let that shape your choices that you make as you go after those goals. And it's made a huge difference in my life, and I'm guessing it's going to make a big difference in yours too. So thank you so much for being here. Start thinking about that today, this weekend, and start taking on that identity of the person you want to become, a person who is accomplishing those goals. Start bringing on that identity and see the positive shift in your life. All right. Thank you so much for hopping in, joining me. Have a beautiful weekend. Keep shining bright. And until next time, I'll catch you later.